Hey guys, welcome to my channel Idea Machine Marketing Basics. Today we are going to go over chapter 4.4 Objectives and Business Decisions. Before we dive into the chapter, do remember that sell the problem you're solving and not the product. To quickly go over the role of objectives, like we went over last time as well, they serve very crucially as a foundation of a business, particularly for decision making and giving a business a very distinct focus and making the right strategic choices. The role of objectives in a business decision making essentially are in multiple stages. Some of them that we can go over today include setting objectives and gathering data to provide focus for strategic decisions. What this means is essentially if a business has decided to, let's say, increase their sales and that's the goal by the end of the year, then setting that objective will help them to understand how to increase the sales, how to optimize production, how to make sure the product is available in order to have the sales high. It helps you assess and analyze impact for helping to solve problems. So again, like we said, if the goal is to increase sales and if sales are lower, then your immediate interaction would be to understand why sales are lower. And once you do that, you can then understand or identify the problem and work towards solving it. It can be a production issue, it can be not enough inventory, it can be logistical, etc. And you can understand what the problem is. Setting objectives also helps you analyze the impact of decision options on achieving objectives. What this means is, let's say, again, keeping the sales goal in mind, if you change your manufacturing process or if you change your logistical process and each of them define or make changes to your sales numbers, you understand which one affects the sales the most. More often than not, marketing and advertising is one crucial metric when you are including sales, and the more you market the product, the better your sales would be traditionally. So, that can be another thing that you can understand with objectives. The last thing would be reviewing success against original business objective, which is, let's say, at the end of the year, if you have determined if you want to have a 5% increase in sales, but by the end you realize that you have about 2% or 3% increase, that means you have not met your goal and you need to do better objective setting and better problem solving. Translating and communicating objectives is extremely crucial as well. So, like setting objectives is one thing, but when you are wanting to translate that and communicate it to the lower level and making sure that the entire company follows through with it, that's very crucial as well. So, translating objectives means that senior management converts objectives into departmental targets. So, let's keep the sales goal in mind and think of, let's say, IT. So, IT's goal would be that order processing time or ticket raising, ticket response times should be lower. Marketing's goal should be that they should have a bigger chunk of market share or more people should be checking the brand out. Logistics goal would be to get the product in the warehouse as soon as possible to meet the increasing consumer demand. That's how an objective translates at lower levels. Smart targets are set for each section of the company, like I described before, and targets are integrated into departmental budgets as well. So if sales are to be increased, each of the department would essentially receive a bonus or a raise depending on what the goal for that particular department is. Communicating objectives is very critical as well, because based on your objectives your company forms an image, or it's essentially leveraged as a public relation tactic outside of the company. Shareholders and external shareholders know about this by reportings. What this means is that if there is, let's say, your company is a public company, or if there are more shareholders and external shareholders, they need to know that what you're doing towards your sales, for example. Because if sales are higher, that means the profit is higher, and therefore the cut would be higher too. So they need to understand what are the measures that you are taking in order to increase it. Employees are aligned with business objectives, which is very critical, and make sure that everyone is working in one direction. And it allows you to monitor and perform performance by managers in specific, because that means the managers are supporting the senior management's goal for the company. Lastly, we'll go over ethical influences on business objectives. Ethics today are a very crucial part of businesses. What this means is that businesses, while being a money making, like profit is the goal for pretty much everyone, but ethical dilemmas are increasing in today's business environment. What this means is that the company's code of conduct essentially tries to cover certain things, and we have four listed here, like how these things can affect a company's image. Some decisions which involve ethical considerations are advertising to children, accepting bribes within the company, exploitative labor practices, and employment of child labor. As you know, any of these things are a not ethical and never ever recommended in a business environment. But if a company does so, and if the news comes out, it's even worse, because the way today's audience is, they are very very uh, critical about ethical decisions, and they do not want to support a brand that's essentially involved into malpractices of any sort. With that, today's chapter comes to an end. Before we end the chapter, I just wanted to tell you guys that I know so far I've been covering business curriculum as a part of as a more structured format, but moving forward I'll be doing concept overviews which will help you understand basic to advanced marketing concepts with real life examples. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Also check out my shorts on Instagram at Idea Machine 09. Thank you.